This video will cover how to create another pictorial called an oblique. There's two different types of obliques. One is a cabinet and one is a cavalier. And what we're going to use is this part configuration made up of 3/4 inch blocks to create both the cabinet and the cavalier drawings. Now, previously, in the previous assignment, we were working on isometric sketches, which use angles of 30 degrees. In this particular case, we're going to use a different angle of 45 degrees to create these type of drawings, the cabinet and the cavalier. They're pretty easy to do, and if you follow this step by step, you should be successful in creating both of these drawings. So what I've done at this particular point is I've labeled the base of the part, which is made up of 3 blocks, 1, 2, and 3. So it's 3 blocks make up the base. 2 blocks make up the height. And then so that you could read it, 1 block makes up the depth from top to the bottom, from the top to the bottom. So what you see pictured, the paper that we're going to use here is orthographic paper. It's only 2-dimensional. The paper that we used previously was 3-dimensional. So in this particular case, I want the drawing to be a full enough size so that you can see the details. So I'm going to make a scale. And I'm going to say my scale is scale equals 2 grids for every 1 block of the part. So what does that mean? That means for every 1 block on the part, I'm going to use 2 grid spaces. For every 1 block on the part, I'm going to use 2 grid spaces. So just a little bit of math here. So if you say, well, if I start with my baseline is made up of 3 blocks. So that means that every one of these blocks will be 2 grids over here. So that means if I take 3 and multiply it by 2, I get a total of 6. So a baseline is made up of 6 blocks. I'm sorry, 6 grids. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My height now is made up of 2 blocks. So I take 2, multiply by 2, and I'll get 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And so just to let you know what I'm doing is recreating this face of the part over here on the grid paper. So if this line is 4, that means this line over here of the part would be 4. There's one block here. 1 times 2 is 2, so 2 blocks. 2 blocks. 1 block down. So 1, 2, 1, 2. And you can kind of see the pattern that's happening here. Now, to create this oblique cabinet, the difference between the two, and I'll explain it more as I create them. The difference between the two is the cabinet is in this particular drawing. The cabinet is shorter. It has less depth than the cavalier, and you'll see how this pans out. So I know that the depth is 1 block from top to bottom. So that means it's going to take up 2 grid spaces. So for this, I'll go 1, 2. And if you notice, to create that angle of 45 degrees, all I did was draw a diagonal across the box, because we know that the box itself is square, And we know that the box makes a 90-degree angle. So to get 45 degrees, I draw a diagonal across the box. And I do that at each one of these points. So at this point, I'll go 45 degrees. At this point, 45 degrees. At this point. And at this point as well. And now I want to do is take all these points and close them. So horizontal line, horizontal line, vertical line, vertical line. That's the oblique cabinet. Now, I'm going to do the same process that I did to create the face over here. I'm going to start about right here. But this one's going to be longer in its depth, or have a greater depth. So the face process, creating the face, is still the same. So the baseline is still 6 boxes. Everything's the same. The height is 4 boxes. Distance across here, 2 boxes. Down 2, over 2, up 2. So to create a greater depth and distinguish the two, what I'm going to do is, in this particular case, I went 2 boxes. And to do this cavalier, I'm still going to use my angle of 45 degrees, but I'm going to go back 3 boxes. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I'm kind of running into my part there a little bit. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And this line right here, because of the angle that I take, it runs into this line. So same process still applies. I close it, close, horizontal lines, vertical line, vertical line. Okay. And then from here, we'll add some tonal shading. So I'm going to say my light source is coming in from this angle. So that means that this surface and this surface will be light, but probably I'll get darker here. I'll probably be darker on this side because there's no sunlight really catching that side. And when I do this tonal shading, something I like to do is take my finger and just kind of blend it in. Or you can use a tissue or a piece of paper. And I believe I'm going to get, probably this side wouldn't get much sunlight either. And then I would add that same tonal shading to this side. And let's take that and rub that in a little bit, blend that out. And that is a process for creating an oblique cabinet and oblique cavalier pictorials.